Today, we mark the 110th anniversary of the landing at Gallipoli, an event that has become deeply embedded in the national consciousness of Australia and New Zealand. I want to speak plainly, truthfully, and with humility about what happened, and reflect on why this campaign still matters. The Gallipoli campaign was part of a larger British-led strategy aimed at forcing the surrender of the Ottoman Empire, opening up a supply route to Russia and breaking the stalemate on the Western Front. It began with an attempt to force the Straits by naval power alone. Early bombardments of the coastal forts failed. Senior Allied officers decided that success in the Dardanelles required amphibious landings on the Gallipoli Peninsula. In the early hours of the 25th of April 1915, under the cover of darkness, soldiers of the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, the ANZACs, came ashore north of Gaba Tepe. The landing did not go to plan. The troops came ashore not on flat ground, but at the base of steep, unforgiving cliffs. They encountered fierce resistance from the Ottoman soldiers who were defending their homeland. The campaign quickly descended into a brutal stalemate of trench warfare, disease, and devastating loss. Over 8 months, more than 8,700 Australians and around 2,700 New Zealanders died on the peninsula. Turkish casualties were far higher, a fact often overlooked in our telling of the history. The campaign achieved none of its strategic objectives and was eventually abandoned in December. And yet, for all its failure, Gallipoli left a lasting legacy, not one of military success, but of national awakening. For the first time, Australians and New Zealanders saw themselves not just as subjects of an empire, but as distinct peoples with their own character, responsibilities, and voice on the world stage. It is easy, perhaps too easy, to wrap Gallipoli in the comforting language of legend, to speak of mateship, heroism, and sacrifice. But we must be careful not to let those words obscure the deeper truths, that these were young men sent into a campaign marred by poor planning, unrealistic expectations, and strategic misjudgment. That their courage existed alongside confusion and chaos. That the Ottoman soldiers they faced, men like Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, fought with equal resolve and suffered as deeply. To commemorate Gallipoli is not to celebrate war. It is to remember the cost. It is to recognise the enduring human impact of decisions made far from the beaches of ANZAC Cove. And it is to remind ourselves, 110 years later, of the responsibility we bear to seek peace, to honour all who served, and to learn from history. Lest we forget.